Hello, Stampin' Friends. It's Lori Bradley here in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and it is Friday, which means that it is Fun Fold Friday. So today's Fun Fold is a zigzag fold, and it's going to open like this, and we're going to have some angles and some straight edges, and it's going to be awesome. When you make this fold, you will need a pencil, so make sure you have your pencil handy. And I realized that I probably should have chosen a lighter color of cardstock, but it is what it is, and I've already chosen, so we're gonna go with it. I have a piece of cardstock, and it is 5.5 by 11, so you can only get one per sheet of cardstock, which I always say it's got to be for someone that you love, right? You got to love them a lot, because there's only one per piece of cardstock. So you have to have something to do with that extra piece. But we're going to score it on the long side at 4 1/4. Make sure it's your scoring blade. That's the lighter one. And then 8. 4 1/4 and 8. All right, so now actually this is gonna be our side that we work with a little more. All right, so we're scored here, we're scored here. On this particular side, we're gonna measure down 2 3/4 inches. And I found that it's easier, I want my line to be here, but really I found it easier to just measure it on this outside piece. Let's go this way a little bit. The outside piece, so 2 3/4, and I'm gonna make a little pencil mark there. And actually, it might be just as easy to use a straight edge and come all the way back to this middle. But there's our 2 3/4, and we're going to cut that. And we're going to put it on our trimmer. Like I said, I probably could have used a darker or a lighter piece of cardstock, but I'm gonna go from 2 3/4, and I'm gonna do my cut line all the way. I have to stand up, of course. I'm gonna go all the way to this score line. Okay, so we're gonna come back. Now on your trimmer, there's these little lines right here. That is showing you where your blade is and where it's going to cut to. So I have my cut right there. I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm gonna cut off what will be the top. And I'll show you why in just a second. So I'm gonna cut on the score line, and I'm gonna start at that, or end, I guess, at that point. So we're gonna cut a little chunk out of it. Okay, so we have this square, we can get rid of that piece. Now this will make it easier. We're going to cut from this fold line down to this line, and that's what's going to give us our angle. So I'm gonna put my score line on my track, right where the cutter will start, and I'm gonna turn this and rotate it so that the bottom piece right here, that is where we're going to cut to, and that's gonna be our cut line. You just have to be careful, make sure it doesn't move after you get your place in position. And then right down here makes me a little bit nervous, so I'm gonna let it go, and then I'm gonna finish that with my, actually I got it, finish it with my scissors. And my trimmer blade is acting like it doesn't want to cut, so I'm just gonna rough that edge with a little sanding block, get rid of those little pieces. That'll just help smooth it out if you have that trouble. All right, so now you have a little piece, and sometimes, you know, your trimmer, you don't get it exactly where you want it. So just take your snips and cut that off. There we go. All right, so we are done with our trimmer for this minute. So this is going to be our base. We're going to fold it. It's gonna fold back in like this, and then backwards. So that is our zigzag. That's what our card is gonna look like. This piece is a full piece. Then we've got the angle that goes down to this piece and comes out. Now I've cut my designer series paper. It's from the Peaceful Garden suite. And I'm going to put my big floral piece right here. Now this one, I used this one because honestly it was out on my desk for my 31 projects. video yesterday, and so it was still out, so I decided to use it. But I think this paper is so pretty. But we're not making a Christmas card today. We are going to make a different kind of card. All right, so we put that piece on first. All right, I'm just getting some pieces out of the way because that's how I like to roll. And then we're gonna put the front piece on. So this one is 4 by 5 1/4. The same pattern, we're going to use another piece, and this one's 2 3/4 by 2 1/2. And I'm gonna put that on the front. Okay, it's gonna be right here on this front. And we will get that glued. The other two pieces of things we're gonna put on the inside, we have to cut. So let's just get everything that we don't have to cut right here on the front, taken care of. Yep. I love these flowers. I think they're so pretty. All right. The directions said 2 3/4. I might make that 2 1/2 by 2 1/2, but that's just me. All right. So the white piece is going to go on the inside, but look at that. We need to cut it also. So we're going to start, this is where it gets complicated, right? We're gonna start at the top left, but we're going to cut our angle down from the top right, okay? We're gonna make it down to 2 1/2. So I'm gonna measure 2 1/2 inches from the bottom because it's a little closer to the bottom than the top, okay? So there's our 2 1/2, and this will be our top right. So we're going to cut that. Put that in the track. We have a little triangle. You can do whatever you want with the triangle, and that piece will go there. And then we're going to do the same thing. They're both, 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. We're going to measure this one 2 1/2. We're going to start at the top left and go down to the bottom on the right. So we're going to measure 2 1/2 on that right side. I'm gonna make my little mark, and then I'm gonna turn it so that that mark is there because we're going from the top left down. Just like that. So we also have a triangle of that. We'll put that aside. We're not gonna use that. Now, our white piece is going to go, I'm gonna rub that a little bit too so that my edges aren't furry. Just take a little nail sanding block and just do that. And after my video today, I'm going to replace my trimmer blade. All right, so I'm gonna use liquid glue. You can use regular adhesive, but the one piece that's really kind of important, you wanna make sure that you get your glue all the way up here in the top corner. If you don't have, the liquid glue probably works best for that. So that's what I'm gonna do here. You could do the top left with glue, or top right, and then use the rest adhesive if you want. But all right, and then this piece will fit right here. You can line it up. If your angle's not quite right, it's okay. It's okay. If your recipient doesn't, appreciate that, then that's on them, right? If you wanted to lay it on there first, you could, but there's our angle. It's a little bit off right there. I think I'm okay with it. My other one is also on my sample. So I'm gonna admit, I don't remember the lady's name who I got this video from, or this idea from, but I used those directions. So this one is also just a little bit angled. It's okay. You're just gonna have a little bit of a different angle. And we're gonna do the same thing with this one. We're gonna put the liquid glue on. The first time I thought maybe it was me, but I don't think it is. I think it's the measurement. All right, so we'll put this right here. There we go. All right, so 2 1/2 might be off just a little bit. All right, so you're gonna get the idea. I will play with this and make sure that that is the right measurement. All right, so then we need our sentiment, right? We need something to say. So I'm going to use the stamp set, the Peace on Earth stamp set, but I'm not going to use the dies because it's kind of a smaller space. We're going to put it right on the front. I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to use the With Deepest Sympathy stamp. I'll stamp it along the edge here, just like that. And yesterday I also used the Sign Design punch that coordinates in a bundle, but I'm going to use it just for the word. I said yesterday it would be great with any particular words. We're going to use it on the front of our card. And then let's wrap some cloud cover ribbon, just the faux linen ribbon right around that back. All right. I'm going to tie it on the back. I'm going to tape it on the back, excuse me. I'm not tying it in a bow. There we go. All right, so we've got that. Then let's go ahead, put some dimensionals on the back. Pop that up. I'm going to trim that ribbon in just a second so that I can see where it actually goes. Excuse me. I'm going to put that right in the middle and then trim my ribbon. Okay, then with that suite are the hues of blue flowers. Excuse me, I feel like I'm choking here. All right, the flowers on my card on the DSP are white. So I'm gonna go ahead and follow those through. I'm gonna go ahead and use the white flowers. There's two different sizes, small and large, and they're gonna add some shine. Let's go ahead and put a couple on here. Let's put a big one maybe here, and then a small one. There we go. So there is our zigzag fold, all decorated, and it looks like that. So this is pretty. If you wanted to put something in here that had more words, if you wanted to add a little white piece and put something else, you are more than welcome to do so. But that is what we've got today. Thanks for watching. I will see you for Fun Fold Friday next Friday.